Today's episode is brought to you by FNX. If you're looking to lose weight, gain weight in the most healthiest way possible, FNX is where you need to go. You're talking about a section you're looking to gain weight. There's a section you're trying to lose weight. There's also even a section you're trying to better your performance when you're out there trying to be the best you. Please go to the link that is in this video. But also, you have to look the part. We're trying to unlock that inner athlete in you. Speaking of inner athlete, hey, you know how we get down. So, fill up your shopping carts. Once you get to checkout, use the promo code BTSI for 15% off. Again, BTSI for 50% off at checkout. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the B.TS show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Thank you guys for joining me. Now, this is usually a lot earlier than when I would normally do it, but that is A-okay. I know it seems like, Chris, why are you acting like you're still getting situated? Trust me, I am. But it is all good. I want to thank you guys for joining me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse. We back to the old ways simulcasting like I used to. And why does my camera look like this? I'm sorry, y'all. This is not proper etiquette. 1 second, fix that. Much better. Today was a wild show. Well, wild ending to say the least. For those who are new here, we do reactions to Lapeef Let's Talk every Thursday. Usually I do it at 1:30 Central Standard Time. I got off early, so I decided to do a little bit early. So I hurry up, rush home, and wanted to get situated with everything. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get to the first topic, but let my guy on stage. Cowboy's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Cowboy, what's up, man?
Nothing much.
All right, heads up.
I saw you on here.
It's all good, man. Just to give you a heads up, we are simulcast. You are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just to give you the heads up.
All right, no problem.
All right. Now, I know, ladies and gentlemen, normally I've had, you're going to say I didn't have none of this prepared again. Yes, I understand. My bad. I should have started at 1:30 my usual time, but y'all know me. I try to get it out the way as soon as I can. But don't worry, we here, and we got the first question on the panel today, which is Tia Mowry says, I know love will find me again. I know love will find me again. Shocker. No one is surprised that her graduation was complete bullshit, and her hoping to find love furthermore solidifies that she's full of shit for her decision making. There are consequences for your action. Tia is living in hers. You had a family that you could have worked on, you could have fixed, you could have figured it out. You had everything. You decided to walk away from that structure for your own happiness. Now, I don't care what the tabloid said about him cheating or not. There's no actual evidence to show that he was cheating. And if I recall correctly, Tia herself did not come out and say that man cheated. I could be wrong. But nevertheless, that's still your marriage. You walked away from your throne instead of being hanging in there to fix your household. You fucked that up, Tia. And now later months down the road, you said it sent out a tweet. I know love will find me again. Well, my question to you, Tia, is this: do you deserve it? Are you ready for it? Because you wasn't ready for it in your previous marriage. So what makes me think that you're ready for it right now? What work have you put in to show that you're ready for love? What accountability are you willing to take for your marriage not succeeding, A, and B, for you walking away from your marriage? Are you ready to put your duty as a wife first, your duty as a mother second, over your own selfish needs? And I'm not, people saying you're just saying that because it's Tia. I'm saying that to anybody, man or woman, doesn't matter. When it comes to a marriage, it's not about you anymore. Fuck you. It's about that person you marry. It's about the family structure. It's about everything. Especially since you got to put your husband first. Trust me, he's going to put you first as well. So that way you guys can come together for your children. Now you let them down a path that is going to come back to haunt them. Now, on the panel, B. Taylor says she's a millionaire. We can't give analysis on her situation. B. Taylor also said we're average compared to her. Who gives a fuck? I'm blessed with the opportunities to speak with millionaires. And what do they say? We're all the same for the most part. Put the money shit to the side. You're still a human being. You're still a man. You're still a woman. You're still gonna be held accountable for certain decisions. How much money you make don't mean a damn thing. That means you're nothing without your money. And if that was the foundation of this marriage, no wonder it failed. So, and you know what? All my comments for one country cookie, we're gonna leave that towards the at the end of the what's what I'm looking for, at the end of the last topic because I have a lot to say about her, and unfortunately, she stays in Houston now. Anton and Cowboy, you want to jump in at any time? Just let me know, brother. Anton asks, "What is a narcissist?" Its definition: a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. And Anton then later asked, why wouldn't you want your man to be a narcissist? And I guess the word narcissist has been thrown around a lot. I get tired of people using that word, particularly women, because they use it the most more than anybody. I hardly hear men bring that word up. I guess that leads to the question: are there such thing as a good narcissist? Um, if you go by the definition, the answer is yes. Well, well, to a degree. Let me rephrase that because it too much of anything is bad. So excessive interest that could be bad because you have to have some type of admiration of yourself and belief in yourself because you don't believe in yourself, nobody else would. And what you're putting investing into yourself, that will then pour out the successes and the results that you're looking for. So, but when we say narcissist, yes, I get the negative connotation and the trace as well. That's why I don't like when people throwing out these words because you're not a clinical, whatchamacallit, to be diagnosing people with being a narcissist. Now, for what's been told to me, you have to, what's what I look for? You have to point out the traits. You could say you have narcissistic traits and go down the list of what that is. You can't just go out and diagnose people with a narcissist. Now, somebody on this app told me otherwise, which I still think that's bullshit. I'm not saying she's bullshit because she grew up around narcissists compared according to her and her therapist. But you can't if you're not a clinical professional, you can't be just throwing that word around and about. Anton, what did Anton also say? what is men's fault for giving women these validation and regarding men pandering? Yeah, I agree. And that's why I remember a long time ago we had a room saying what's more dangerous, a pick me or a simp. I think a simp is more dangerous, honestly, because you're giving credit to women who don't deserve it. You're giving credit for your own selfish gains, and it's not because you just being legitimate or you just being honest. So to those men, y'all gotta knock that shit off. Now, granted, I haven't came across too many of them as of late before I used to, and I'm glad that ties has changed since then. I'm not getting to Anton B. Taylor's back and forth. You mind your own business. They're grown. Bruiser said there's a sin born every day. Yep. And like I said, they're probably one of the most dangerous men, but some women are just going to find out the hard way. Now, she's a lucky. I do agree with what she's saying. Instead of calling people narcissists, just call them an asshole. Call them for what they are. Sometimes I agree. I agree with that. You calling somebody a narcissist is sometimes you being too nice. You're avoiding for what they actually need to be called, which is a full fledged asshole. So I 100% agree with Lucky on that. And finish out, like I said, we'll talk about one country in the last topic, but Anton says self love. If a woman come around saying she needs to find self love, that's a red flag. Turn around, run the right. I agree. You didn't find self love before we got together. You don't know how to position your love in a relationship to make things better, but you decided to focus on you and only you. Yeah, that's a major, and I mean a major red flag. Anton is right on that. Yes, you're supposed to be evolving when it comes to self love, but not to the point where you jeopardize your own marriage. So yeah, any woman that comes with that self love bullshit is full of shit. Now, before we get to the next topic, to the audience, Cabo, you got any thoughts on that? I know I said a mouthful.
Yeah, you said a lot. Uh,
It's basically Tia Mowry saying that I know love will find me one day. I was like, woman, you was in a marriage and you walked away for it. Why do you deserve love? And that, um, on that level.
yeah, I mean, without knowing the person, that sounds like they're living this Disney fairy tale. So I know this woman. A lot of women like drama. That's why Lifetime is a channel. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's why Oprah makes these horrible movies that with bad endings. Like women love that stuff for some weird reason.
Yep.
Um, but the whole narcissist thing, like I hear that get tossed out. You know, like it's an instant negative. Like being a sociopath or a psychopath is an instant negative, and it's really not. There are people who actually function in society, and they're very successful, you know, despite, you know, being those things. So it's really one of those things where people, they don't know what they're talking about, and they heard it on the news somewhere, in a negative light or wherever they heard it, and then they just try to label people not being a professional, you know, not being, in that profession at all, of therapy, psychotherapy, or any of that stuff, and they'll just start labeling people, uh, because they have an issue with them. But yeah, that's these traits are not, even if the person is a narcissist, it doesn't make them it doesn't instantly make them a bad person, you know. And so I think if people want to use the word and label people, then they need to do some research.
Right.
It's really that simple.
No, I agree. And there's a lot of negative connotations when it comes to narcissists because a lot of people had a bad experience, so they can't help but to associate um, that with that with being bad, and it's all because of their own personal experience. Like there was a woman who came across as that. She said she doesn't have to be a clinical professional to diagnose somebody with narcissism because she said she grew up around it. She's seen it a lot, so she thinks she's qualified. Now, to agree, I respect that, but because
what? Dude, you respecting too much.
No, it's,
how you gonna grow up around it? See, this is what I mean. People go online and then they like, oh, here's a checklist. Oh yeah, that applies to this. Like, no, a lot of people, have traits that overlap, and they see some of these traits and they think, okay, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this guy's a sociopath, or this guy's a psychopath, or this guy is. It's like, yo, you're not professional. It's really that simple. Because if you were, you wouldn't be applying this, to the people you so-called grew up with. It's
right.
like they get checked out, and a doctor can't meet a person one time and come up with that either. They have to be in therapy with that person and take notes.
No, I agree. I agree. It's just some people think they the um above the rule, I guess. But it's like, all right, I'm just gonna let you shoot some bail, but you're gonna find out the hard way. But it's all good. Let's get to the second question, people. This topic I was really wanting to talk about. Joe Budden said he's happy to see podcasters fail. Joe Budden said he is happy to see podcasters fail. Me personally, it is what it is. I have no problem with Joe's take on this. I don't listen to the podcasters as I used to, but I was there for Joe's take since the first episode to see where he's at now. I'm happy for the brother. He weathered storms that should have destroyed him, and granted, he did play a part in some of the turmoil, but he's still here. He did at one point in time. He did podcasting for free in the beginning. Now he's going. Now he's got the bag, and he can get a bigger one whenever he fit. Me personally, I say salute to Joe Budden. I don't have a problem with him shitting on people who've been struggling to pandemic. Because keep in mind, a lot of people. Joe has been hip hop's punching bag. Call him one hit wonder. They bring up his what's what I'm looking for. His abuse, um, domestic abuse situations. Nothing has stick for whatever reason. That's none of my business. But they always had something for Joe Budden. He decided to go into Granted, he did YouTube, Joe Budden TV. Then he did radio before all that. He decided to get into podcasting, and he was doing it for free. I could tell he wasn't getting no money outside of some ads here and there. To see where he's starting and where he's at right now, I've seen it. He Now, did I like his business deal with Spotify? No. Me personally, I thought he should have gone to Patreon before Spotify because now he's seeing a different type of bag. I'm guessing more so than what happened at Spotify. He still has an option to go elsewhere or to partner his network with other companies, whatever the case may be. So when other rappers, whatever, see him doing what he's doing, they try to mimic it and they realize where's the money at. First of all, like I said during that Skip Bayless episode, you need to have a production company, you need to have a marketing company, and so on and so forth. The marketing company is where you're selling yourself, you're selling your brand, and that way you can get all the advertising. See, a lot of people don't know that at all. Now, do I have a marketing company? No, I'm not. I don't see the need for it as of right now. Now, God forbid if I'm pushed to that, because I'm gonna see a different type of bag, and y'all gonna see the same old asshole that I normally been. But trust me, I just like to tell the truth. That's just who I am. But getting back to what the case is, a lot of people didn't see money in the podcasting, the money that they thought was going to be there, and they quit. They failed. And Joe Budden is still on top in his respective field. Now, me personally, I think his only competition right now is Joe Rogan. He's not competing with nobody else. He's not competing with Rory and Maul. I haven't listened to the podcast like that. I don't know where the numbers is at, but I highly doubt it's up to Joe. And allegedly, from what I'm being told, Joe was attacking Mouse Jones. Now, I'm gonna be honest about Mouse Jones, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care for him. The only time I hear about Mouse Jones is because he had some way, shape, or form. He has some ties to Charlemagne. When he calls a brilliant idiots, I hear about Mouse Jones. He's on the Black Effect Network, which is owned by Charlemagne and Neidhart. And I remember that one conversation on Clubhouse before I even got on when they was trying to when everybody was trying to gang up on Royce the 5'9" because of his affiliations with Eminem. I don't care for Mouse Jones. He's not that entertaining to me. He panders a lot. He's clout chasing, and it's like, dude, you are a how can I say this? You might be a poor man's version of. I can't even say. No, I'm not even gonna say Charlemagne because that's disrespectful to Charlemagne. I just don't care for Mouse Jones, and allegedly Joe Budden was responding to Mouse Jones. And ladies and gentlemen, if that's the case, he's right. Mouse Jones is not entertaining. Podcast after podcast after podcast after podcast after podcast. It's like, dude, something's not sticking. You're not connecting with the audience. So I don't. When I tell y'all, I can lit. I like Rory and Maul. Don't get it twisted. So you'll never hear me shit on them. But as far as Mouse Jones, if that's who Joe Budden was responding to, I definitely don't mind that because I don't give a fuck about Mouse Jones. He's not that entertaining. I'm more inclined to watch the brothers on in the Manosphere or in Red Pill, like I've been doing, versus um Mouse Jones. If you guys say he's talented, I don't see it. I'm open. I'm willing, open to admit to say I am wrong. But as of now, I don't see it. Salute to Joe Budden. He can go shit on whoever because they was doing it before. Now he's winning, and he's just gonna continue to win. And real quick to Lady Di's point, she brought up Proverbs chapter 24, verse 17 and 18. Don't be happy when your enemy is defeated. Don't be glad when he overwhelmed. Verse 18. The Lord would notice and be displeased. He may not be angry with them anymore. I get it. I understand. Yes, you're absolutely right in regards to that. I cannot fault that. But at the same time, going back to Joe Budden, I don't have a problem him shitting on people that shitting on him all his life. So that's my take on it. Joe Budden, continue doing what you're doing. So we got another member. Moa is on the stage. Moa, what's up?
What's up, guys? Can y'all tell me what's going on? I've been sick for the past couple of days.
No, it's all good.
What's going on?
It's all good, man. Every Thursday after Lapeef Let's Talk, I do a live reaction on YouTube. But since I had the time today, we're doing a simulcast. You are currently on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and obviously Clubhouse. This is a simulcast.
Got it, but what I'm talking about the topic.
Yeah,
I always expect that with you, so every time I enter your stages, so I always expect that.
It's all good, man.
You mentioned Joe Biden, and all I'm saying is this Lapeef guy.
Oh yeah, Joe. No, I got you, man. Joe Budden, the the podcast. He's a podcaster, American broadcaster. He's been doing his thing for how long has Joe Budden been podcasting? Let me think.
Oh, you said Joe Budden. I'm thinking you're talking about Joe Biden.
I can't give a shit about Joe Biden at this moment.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, did he ever change of heart?
That would be hilarious if he had a podcast.
Oh no, I don't know what else.
That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking this whole time this Lapeef guy is Joe Budden he's talking about, and he's talking about Joe Biden.
No. That's not it. I want to make that clear. We're talking about Joe Budden, lyricist that tends to get in his own way, but now he's a podcaster. A lot of people shitting on him on his way up, and now that he's winning, other people try to do the same thing he's doing, and they are falling off, and just quitting podcasts. It's like, bro, you can't do what I do because you have to put the work in for free. I saw when he did over outside of that Bevel deal, I saw him do hundreds of episodes for free just because he wanted to put it out there. So now that he's in a position where he now understands the business a lot better and he knows how to maneuver it and he knows how to get it back from it. These other people that join do not know how to do it, and they just end up quitting because they want some fast get rich quick money. Like for example, me, in the case of me, I have been doing this YouTube content thing for free since March 20th, 2020. So yeah, wait a minute. No, March 20th, 2015. I'm sorry. So this year, this will be 8 years that I've been doing this for free. That's only because I'm just working on my craft. So when it's time to position myself to make money, which will be a lot sooner than I originally planned, I put the work in. Other people are trying to looking to get rich quick, and it's like, no, you gotta respect the grind. So that's what
grind won't respect you. So.
that is a fact.
So what do you like? I've been just hearing about him online. I never really watched any of his podcasts. I'm gonna start watching it. What's been going on with him, like start to finish? What's been going on in the beginning? Well, are you able to cover all that, or?
Not really, but it's just really just he'll post every 2 week. Oh no, 2 episodes a week. He has a Patreon, and he just whatever hot topic happens in the week, he has a own unique opinion that's different from everybody else, and that's pretty much it. It's a good show. I don't listen to it anymore because I just quit cold turkey sometime in 2020. I don't know. Maybe the pandemic has something to do with that, but I don't listen. There's a lot of things I used to listen and watch that I don't do it anymore. But I still see his content. I'll tune in every now and then, depending on what happened in the week. Um, and I still see the clips on YouTube every time. But now you'll enjoy it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. But real quick,
Yeah, this is like the third time I think I heard you mention him this year. So that's why I was at this year. What was it? Somewhat I think December, January, these two last months before February. This is like the third, fourth time I heard you mention him. So
yeah, I would
I'm
have.
gonna listen to it. But I didn't know that much. I mean, that's usually how it goes, you know. Haters are always gonna hate, you know. Once you reach a certain, panel, that's just how it is. Sometimes
Right.
now, that's just how it is.
Nah, that's real. But that was my take on the second topic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and turn the music up a little bit. We're
What were
going.
the first and second topics? You don't mind me asking, Chris. I must have missed
Nah, you good,
a
brother.
lot.
Nah, not real. Nah, we just started not that long ago. But yeah, y'all, let's get the music jumping. Here is the next commercial. We will be right back. This is Wavilio. Today's episode is brought to you by Wavilo. Of course, you guys see me with my Bakari watch. Looks nice, don't it? But if I wanted to go out, just a casual wear, and it's kind of chilly outside. Not bad. Let's add some more color to it. Ooh, that's gonna look good for the photo shoot. Get with the brand that's versatile, that can cover you in all areas of fashion for men and women. So, go to the link that's in this video, fill up your shopping carts. Once you do, the promo code is BTSI for 50% off. I repeat, BTSI for 50% off at checkout.
Like he's hating on himself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's kind of odd. This guy walks away from a $20 million deal. For what?
It's he felt like he deserved more than what they was offering. But the best thing I heard someone tell him, now granted he didn't take it that well, he probably still won't take it that well, is it's not what you deserve, it's what you negotiate. So
Well, you can't negotiate if you don't have the subscribers. then you ain't this. You have little to negotiate with. It's same. It's the same thing with Netflix and the Monique situation. Like she hadn't been on tour in like how long? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, had she currently filled up seats in like a stadium or something, then Netflix would have gave her what she was asking for.
Right.
But you gotta prove that you have the pull. You know what I'm saying? And you come to these people talking about I got the pull, and the numbers are reflected differently, or you have no numbers at all, and you don't have much to negotiate with.
No, you're 100% right. And at that particular time, I don't know what he could have presented to Spotify at the time. It's like I, I get it. He wants to do everything like with Joe at that time. He wanted to be like, all right, I made these changes. I made this upgrade. Here's my numbers to prove it. So I need. He wants to. It's kind of like he wanted to renegotiate the contract during while you're in the. Hey, Gil, I'm gonna bring you up, sweetheart. He wanted to renegotiate his contract while you're still in the middle of the contract. It's like, that's not how it works. You honor this contract, finish it
Actually,
out. Go ahead.
no, actually, it is actually. And I learned this from the union. Like we would have like 2 to 4 year contracts.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time that we were within that contract, they were already working on the next contract. They don't wait to the end of the contract to start trying to cover everything they want to cover. So yeah, you do negotiate in the middle, like okay, for the next contract.
Right.
But if you want to make changes, sometimes you can make amendments like, hey, we've been doing this isn't working out, and if they're willing to work with you, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But if they're not, the contract's the contract, and you're gonna have to wait to the end of that contract, to implement the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. He wanted to get paid what the market said. And it's like, get that on your next contract. So that way, once you outperform this contract, they can reimburse you on your next contract. He handled it, like I say, he handled it terribly, honestly. And I get how I understand how he feels. I really do. That's why I was kind of like, you wanted to do what you call it, Patreon. I was like, you should have done Patreon to begin with. But hey, you got to get out there. You got to make the mistakes. You got to learn your lesson. And now I do believe Joe Budden is a lot smarter now than what he was 2, 3, 4 years ago when he was still trying to figure all this out.
Dude, if he had just stuck with Spotify, he would have been making the cake. There's no way Patreon bringing him as much money as Spotify would have been bringing him.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Patreon is. I wonder how many subscribers he has. Me personally, he doesn't reveal that number from the last time I checked. Because I know Andrew Schultz had 5,000, and that's a lot for a Patreon. As a matter of fact, I need to look up to see who has the most subscribers on Patreon. Because your tiers, you got your $5, $10, $25, or whatever the case may be. Matter of fact, down the road, I'll put this in there. This is my 5-year plan. I will do a BTS I Show Patreon. That's like we got years before we even touch that. But since let me go ahead and get to the second topic. Excuse me, the third topic, which is not all women are afraid of ending up single. Not all women are afraid of ending up single. I guess on face value, obviously. If you were to dive deeper into it, a minimum of 30%, and I know I'm being friendly when I say 30%, I already know. A minimum of 30% of women do not want to be single because those women are willing to get in a relationship with anybody not to feel alone. I have seen that all my life, ladies and gentlemen. Women, when we see the women significant others, you want to talk about, I know we say Pookie and Ray Rays a lot, but pretty much you're settling for less. One of the things I talk about settling less in the marriage series is when you compromise your standards just to be with somebody. So to say not all women are afraid of ending up single, that's a small number. Like you can probably count that on your hand. But typically, women are loving, women are nurturing, and they want to do that to somebody. They want to do that for somebody, particularly their significant other, obviously their children, but they gotta build a rapport, build a relationship with, and get that loving to the man that they want to be with. So yes, all women don't end up single, but majority of them, no, they cannot say that. They do not want to be alone. The pandemic have already proved that. You can go back to 10 to 15 years how women always chasing after some guy that they shouldn't be with, a guy that they don't want, just so to say that they're not alone, or whatever the case may be. So let me see regarding the panel. B. Taylor, who is Mary says she's protected. She's saying that because she has a significant other. Here's the thing: all women are protected. Believe it or not, all unmarried women do have a man to protect them. Their fathers, their grandfathers, their uncles, their male cousins, their brothers, so on and so forth. One thing I tell women: if you're looking for protection from a man, start with your family because they're going to protect you until you walk down the aisle and all responsibility is given to your husband. And also, now Bruiser says something: unmarried women are the lowest of the lows. And let me look at the camera. When I say this, Bruiser, you got to relax. You got to chill out. I don't know you're shooting slugs at B. Taylor, although she was a hit dog in that segment. But, bro, you got to chill out. You got to relax. If you're unmarried, there is a reason for that. There's not always a good reason. I'll openly admit that. But I'm not going to say all unmarried women are the lowest of the lows because those are, at the end of the day, those are still potentials to be a wife. Now, what is invested into them and how they set themselves up to be a wife remains to be seen. But to say all of them are the lowest of the lows, Bruiser, I rock with you, but you got to relax. Now, also in that comment, before we get to the final topic, and I'll get to the audience, she's so lucky asked a question because when they got into the therapy topic, she says, shouldn't you get a counselor that caters to your belief? The answer is yes, case in point. The second time that I went to therapy via my dad making me go, um, we had a Christian counselor. We're Christians. Firm believer of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. To help out with whatever I was going through at that time, my dad chose a Christian counselor. Matter of fact, the first two times were Christian counselors. One I recognized from the radio based off his voice, and the other one was another lady. Those were Christian counselors that can help us and make sure when we get better, we're in the realms of what we already know. So that way, if you believe in the Quran, you should get a therapist or a counselor that has that same beliefs so they can walk with you with what you're going on. If you're Catholic, same thing. Baptist, same thing. Other religions, Buddhist, whatever, exact same thing. Or if you're atheist, same thing. Or if you don't believe, hey, free range. Choose whoever you want to choose. You should get a therapist or a counselor that caters to you, that can understand you. Don't just pick one counselor and just run off with it. No, choose the one that you want. You willing to throw all these filters in a dating market? Do it for therapy. It's only going to make yourself better at the end of the day.
Well, do you really need a counselor that has the same beliefs that you do, like from a religious standpoint, or I mean,
you don't have to, but it'll help.
If your problems, stem from your religion,
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're gonna, now you need a therapist that, at minimum, they should understand the religion itself and the rules of it, right?
Right.
But if you just have regular people problems, it doesn't matter what they believe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, typically speaking, like, religion rarely comes up, in therapy. Again, unless that's your issue, but that's kind of not what they teach to therapists.
Like I said,
that sounds like you gotta go speak to a religious leader about those issues. since they would be the expert, you know, and also like in conjunction with your therapist. But you know, I mean, that's my pushback on that, you know, because you know, all your other personal issues that you're having, outside of any, you know, religious beliefs, you know, a lot of their issues are outside of religion, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, and you always had the people who like to, whatever problem they're going through, like, let's just use Christians just for the sake of conversation. You got an issue, a problem, a personal problem, but you want to do it through the realms of religion, through the realms of the Bible. And there's a therapist who is there is a Christian therapist or a Bible therapist or whatever word you want to use. He or she is right there, and they can navigate you through that. Now, I'm a firm believer. Like, go talk to the pastor, and let's see where we go from there. But that's why I said there's a need for a Christian therapist. I went to two of them the first time around. The last one was not a religious therapist, but I do understand that they do play a part and it's necessary.
I mean, it's like being an African American, and then you go to a therapist, and then you start talking about racism at the workplace, and then that person's not African American, you know. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna be paying money to explain to them what racism looks like, you know, to a black person,
Right.
you know. And so I would say, you know, it's the same thing with religion. If your religion's tied into your personal issues, then yeah, definitely get someone who understands your religion. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll ask you questions, you know, and they'll be listening to you. Well, why do you feel that with this, that, and third? And then you got to explain it to them. Meanwhile, they're getting paid. It's like, I'm teaching you at this point. You can pay me.
That's a fact. All right, man. Appreciate that. But let's get to the. Let me make sure I get the. Okay, good. Let's get to the final topic. This is the meat of the conversation. Emotional maturity. Emotional maturity. Um, Actually, first order of business. Salute to Shard Ali, Sharzad M. Ali. I remember my mentor friend. Of course, I know Cowboy Mo. I know him as a black man. Um, Educated me by saying there is no such thing as emotional intelligence. He explained how emotions and intelligence are oxymorons. Emotion is not logical. The best word to use, if not emotional control, is emotional maturity. Now, Shajada M. Ali said in the video, most black women, you have to, they are like 14-year-old girls emotionally. So the best way to deal with them is as if they were children, teenagers. And now, those who are watching on YouTube, um, you don't see me. Well, you don't see us dealing with a lot of foolishness from women on the panels. But when you go to this crazy world that is called Clubhouse, yeah, they're grown, they got kids, they got businesses, but just emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they are children. If you don't believe me, I got Cowboy on the stage, I got Moa on the stage. They can tell you from their experience how Western women on Clubhouse tend to be children. So, so are we saying all black women are children? No, we're not. We're just saying we understand when she said majority or most black women move like 14-year-olds. Um, I was in there was a room I was in before I hopped on YouTube, and a woman said she has every right to walk outside butt ass naked, and she should be respected. That's a response of a child, ladies and gentlemen, because I expect that from my 4-year old, or even my 4-year old, for the most part, knows better. I don't expect that from no adult. Now, I said, can I respectfully respond to her? Of course, the women wouldn't better give me a chance to speak, but I was able to get them to hush up real quick. I told her this. I even met her halfway. You deserve not to be disrespected. I will admit that. She deserves not to be disrespected. However, I'm not going to respect her to the same level as a woman who decides to carry herself with class and put some damn clothes on. And of course, you would imagine how the room decided to be unhinged when I said that. Children. I am talking to children. Nothing will make me more happy that I can go into a room and whether we have opposing views, I would like to talk to adult women. Actually, I have been doing that as of late in a couple of people's room. I don't want to name drop, but I have for those couple cases. Majority of the time, I'm literally talking to children, and it works my nerves. Now, before we get into how this show almost went to shits, Cowboy Moa, what's your thoughts about Western women acting like children?
Go ahead, Cowboy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a phenomenon that crosses all ethnicities in this country. We tend to, those of us who are black tend to talk about black people, but understand, that the whole red pill thing was started by white men.
Mm-hmm.
They have, you know, um, and so there's all this feminism, this nonsense, and blah blah blah. And meanwhile, like you said, it's like you're dealing with a child a lot of times. And these people could be in their 30s and 40s, throwing grown temper tantrums because you don't agree with them. You know, it just boggles the mind. They'll come into a conversation and they're not constructive. They just want to be right. And then it's like, well, what kind of conversation is that? I just sit there and agree with everything. And on the other end of that, if they run into a man that agrees with everything they say, they disrespect them. They call them weak. So, yeah, dealing with a real woman and a real adult woman is night and day to dealing with a lot of these, these, what should I call them? Adult horribles that are out there.
Yeah, so Cowboy put it at the thing. For me, be emotional all you want. You know what I mean? It is a feeling. But my problem comes when you bring the facts, when you bring the statistics, right? They'll bring you statistics from you know what I mean? I can't even remember the website they be using. They be using weird websites that have nothing to do with governments, has nothing to do with universities, have nothing to do with anything. They're talking about a university topic, but they're going to bring a site from, you know what I mean, a blog post. You know what I mean? We're talking about a government issue, you know what I mean? A census issue. They're going to go to, you know what I mean, Wikipedia. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, for me, I don't mind a person, especially a Western woman, becoming emotional about the facts or statistics. But can you at least agree with them? You know what I mean? Like they come from you know what I mean, a government site, which cannot be altered, which is not an opinion, which is not a thought. It's a statistics that has been backed up by lots of reporting, lots of reviews. You know what I mean? So when they come in, like me, Cowboy, or any Chris, you even to when the stats are bring to them, you know what I mean? They just be like, no, you know what I mean? Where do you get your stats? And they always try to outdo you. But the thing is, when they try to outdo you, they bring it from a non-government site. They bring it from a non-census site. So it's kind of like, what's going on here? I bring you a site that says .gov. You bring me a site that says .org.
Mm-hmm.
Or .blog post.
Right.
.com. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like how, of course, one of this not going to go through. You know what I mean? Because I'm saying one other thing, my stats are saying something else. Your stats are saying completely something else. Of course, we're not going to agree with each other. because our sources are from two completely opposite sources. One is an opinion and a thought source, you know what I mean, where people just share their ideas or things that come into their mind on a daily, weekly, monthly basis or yearly basis, and mine is actually backed up by the government. You know what I mean? Any person who's genuinely using stats, you're gonna see them use a .gov or that census.gov,
right.
that website. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, for me, be emotional. You're a woman at the end of the day. You're supposed to be emotional. You're supposed to be caring. You're supposed to be loving, supportive, all that. But if you cannot be supporting, you know what I mean? If you don't even understand what you're against. You know what I mean? That's the funny. That's one thing I had to learn. In order to be a supportive spouse, you have to learn what you don't know. That is the key thing in being a perfect spouse or a trying spouse. But when you're disagreeing with every single thing, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't go with your ideas or your opinions or your thoughts, boo-hoo. You know what I mean? No one cares about your feelings. No one cares about your emotions. You know what I mean? Except your actual spouse, your boyfriend, your husband,
And
girlfriend,
if
your
that,
wife.
if
You know what I mean?
that, if right.
If they're actually in love with you. You get what I'm saying? Even some of them, when we ask them, like, go ahead and bring this to your husband or wife. You know what I mean? If they, the woman would be like, well, why would I bring this to my husband? Why would I bring this to my boyfriend? I'm like, so you can get from a man's perspective. That's the other thing. They don't want to hear from a man's perspective. They don't. Whether you bringing them stats or you giving them from a male's perspective, they still don't want to hear it.
And that's what, before we go to Lisa, and that's why I would say that's very childlike of women, and that's why Shahzad Ali said most of them are 14-year-olds mentally, so you have to approach them like a 14-year-old. One person I don't have to worry about doing that to is Miss Lisa. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Hey, I'm a little tired. You got off of work like an hour ago.
Don't worry, I just want you to know, although it's midnight where you at. We're currently on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and obviously Clubhouse. So this is a simulcast. Just want to let you know.
Okay, cool.
Now, I can never pronounce her name right. Shahzad Ali said most black women have a mentality of a 14-year-old based off their emotional maturity or lack thereof. Like I said, I don't have to worry about that pertaining to you. But what is your take on that? About how some of the women act? Is it childish? Is it just right? Or what's your take on it?
Who said that? Who said that?
Shahzada Ali. They said it. She said it in the video. So there's actually a video of her actually saying this.
Oh, if a woman said that, oh wow.
You do know who Shahzada? Am I pronouncing her name right? Shahzada Ali.
I never heard of her.
Cowboy, am I pronouncing her name right?
Are you talking about the woman that Kevin Samuels got a lot of his material from?
Yes.
Sister, I think it's Shah. I gotta be looking at her name to say it.
It is. I just close it. Yeah, it's Shahzada Ali.
I never heard of her.
She is a lot of what Kevin Samuels got criticized for. She's been saying, go.
Sister Shahrazad Ali.
There you go, Shahrazad Ali.
And so you probably too young, because she was like on Donahue and shows like that. You know, she wrote the books. Was it the men's guide to the black man's guide to understanding black women or something like that?
That wrote that book. Yeah, I heard that book before.
Yeah, so a lot of the talking points that Kevin Samuels had, they actually came from her. You know, and he gave her credit for that too. You know, he always gave credit, but but she got dragged by black women. You know, so a lot of this dragging I see at Kevin Samuels and anybody who has criticism of black women, I'm not surprised, because this woman was getting dragged back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So
I just say every black woman's different, you know. She haven't talked to all black women in the world to say they childish.
She's 68 years old, Lisa.
Hey, she know 3 million, 5 million black women.
I bet you she does.
But see, here we go again with the whole all thing. Here's the all. We all gonna die someday. The end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing else is all. So, you know, he made what's called a general statement.
Oh, she got 12 children. I didn't know that.
It just needs to cover 51% or more. It's just a general statement. You know?
It's so Lisa, like there are some women, you've been on the app with them. I think you might have got into it with one of them, but I had to put you guys on separate corners. But it's just I don't remember her name. It's a good minute ago. But shut up. We are live. We got audience members. You will be quiet.
Yeah, we got company.
You will be quiet, ma'am. It's just that some people act like perpetual childs. Unfortunately, like they don't get it their way. There's a way that they want to be viewed. There's a narrative they want to push, and it's like, no, I'm not going for that. As a man, I'm not going for that, and I'm gonna treat you like you want to be treated, or better yet, I'm gonna treat you how you should be treated. So, anytime we open the do a room or I go in this room, and if I start talking to women like the elementary school counselor in that real soft ass voice that will annoy the hell out of somebody, just know that that person ran me hot, and I'm just going to talk to them like a child.
Oh.
That's just But yeah, I understand what she's saying. Just some women, how they act is very childish. But now that we're here, let's get to what's this individual's name? I'm ashamed of her in more ways than one.
Well, I mean, real quick on your childish thing, I just thought of how, you know, women like some out here nowadays talk to me nice. There's even a room on Clubhouse called that, like a house, talk to me nice, and it's like, huh? Ever since I heard that, I was like, what the hell is going on with that? You know? And now that you mentioned the childish thing, it's like, that is childish. You know? You talk to kids nicely all the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I talk to kids like they regular people. You know what I'm saying? But they want baby talk. And it's like, but you're wrong. You know, what's wrong with you?
Right. No, it's just, hey, we got to adapt and adjust. Adapt, adjust, and execute. Adapt, adjust, and execute. Now, let's get into one country cooking. She was a new speaker on the panel tonight. How can I say this nicely? I can't. She's unfortunately she's from my city. She Houston. She admitted to the panel that she stays in Maryland. She's in her 40s. So you guys have an idea where this is about to go. So basically, just to paraphrase, she tried to defend Tia Mowry to a degree, or maybe I misrepresent what she said, but she has at least one child that I know of. She's a baby mama. And not only she's a baby mama, she admitted that her child was an accident. She told her child that she was an accident. That child is in her 20s at one of my old colleges I used to go to, Texas Southern University. Yes, that's a HBCU, people. And she still thinks that she's that woman as if she was in her 20s. Now, I don't know if because of her age or whatever the case may be, she kept on referring back to the time when she used to run track, like several times. Throughout the the live stream, she went back to like almost every topic. She brought that up. And it's like, man, can you stop bringing up your track days? Those are behind you. You keep up bringing that up, and eventually led to her and Anton going to a back and forth. Um, she thinks that she's a Ferrari, so she thinks she's priceless, high maintenance, and all this other stuff. It's like, dog, you talk about all these men that was in your life, your father, your brothers, or whatever the case may be, and how they protected you, look highly of you, blah, blah, blah. If that was the case, why did you get pregnant in college? Why are you in your 40s, you're not married? Why have you married none of your baby fathers? So on and so forth. It comes to the point where it's like, you just need to humble yourself and understand where you're at in the food chain and accept that. Or you have to work to change where you're at and be humble. So I don't understand, and this is what I talked about that older generation. But granted, she's only like 5 years older than me. This is that one particular generation that poisons the minds of us and the people behind us. It's like they need to be isolated and thrown away. Ain't no way in your 40s you think you're getting the same options that you did in your 20s. You might get the options that aged like you did, but you're not getting the same young gunner from the 20s. And she's relying on the fact that she's young, she looks young to get a man. And it's like, you're old, you're in denial, you're foolish, you're not a feminine woman that you claim to be. And to be quite honest, for her to be so dingy, open, and stupid, I'm ashamed that she's from Houston. So I don't mind Anton kicking her off the panel. Women like that deserves to be isolated. And based off of how she acted on that panel, like I said, there are some women that deserve protection. There's some women that don't. Women like that, you just gotta cut ties with her and let her go. Leave her where you found her, like real talk. So to actually the daughter, I don't know if she'll see this, but hopefully this goes in rotation at Texas at TSU. I'm sorry that your mother said you was in an accident because I don't know how she delivered that message to you. Hopefully, it wasn't equivalent to what we saw on the street tonight. How you got here is irrelevant. It's what you're able to put in this world. Are you about to invest in it to let people know you belong here just like anybody else? So I'm sorry that your mother embarrassed you on YouTube like she did. If you're having issues with her, the best thing I can tell you to do is knock her off that pedestal. Like, people like to keep their parents on such a high pedestal for eternity. You got to learn to take them down so you guys can be on I and I level. So that way something like this won't hurt as much. And it's like you're just you. See, that's what they always tell people: knock your parents off the pedestal by a couple of slots, and just a reminder where they at, because some of y'all put them on the same pedestal as God or higher, and that always comes back to bite them. So for that young girl at TSU, you belong here like anybody else. I don't give a damn what your mother's talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Lapeef Let's Talk reaction. And don't worry, for the my wrestling fans, I got something for you. I just hang tight. But to Cowboy, Mo, and Lisa, what is your thoughts on emotional maturity?
I was so asleep.
Oh, really? Bet.
No,
I'm gonna remember that. Don't.
No, I'm it's 2 to 10:30 now.
Okay. It's 10:30.
Yeah, no, it's 12 right now.
I'm about to say, I know where you at. You're not in Hawaii.
Wait, what? She's really 2 hours behind, 3 hours.
Yeah, I was like, she's not in Hawaii, so she better stop lying to me.
No, but my schedule is from 2 to 10:30.
Okay, gotcha.
She's talking about her schedules.
And I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take care of my mommy. Okay. So,
okay.
yeah, but the immature part. Yeah, I guess some women are immature. They don't want to discuss things. They want to argue with women and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. Gabo Moore, what's your take on emotional maturity?
Emotional, emotional damage. So, it takes time. I think it has to be taught at home, though. But then it's something that you could learn through experience. And so, but you have to be open to learning. And from what I've seen is like, there are people who they get to a certain age and they realize things are not working out for them. And then they'll start to develop that emotional maturity so that they can make it at work. They can make it in relationships, not just, intimate relationships, but even relationships with their family members. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like some of us see, if it's like a drug addict, though. If people are enabled, if you keep spoiling and coddling people, they're going to continue to act the way they act. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's something I see happen on this app here on Clubhouse. Is the wrong people get coddled? And maybe I'm talking about the women. Well, no, the dudes too, because the women will coddle dudes that that are no good.
Right.
They're just trash dudes, and they'll circle the wagons around that guy. Maturity that they need to truly make it in life.
Right. That is real. Go ahead, Mara.
I've said this a million times. This whole emotional maturity starts when you're young. You cannot be emotionally mature starting to be emotionally mature at 35. It's going to take you a long, long process mentally to go through it. I would say in the beginning stages, like how Bo said, as a kid, you have to be taught how to be emotionally stable. If something does not affect you or your family, you know what I mean? Or sometimes your friends, then so be it. You know what I mean? On this app, we see it all the time. You know what I mean? Like a man's tone being, you know what I mean, told, hey, you can't use the B word, you can't use the H word, you can't do all this, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I feel like if you are an emotionally mature woman, Western woman, then you should be able to know the difference when the shoe fits and when the shoe doesn't fit. So if a man is using the B word or the H word or W word or whatever the case may be, and they're not pointing at you, they're not saying your name, and then adding that B, H, W words, then there's no reason for you to get mad. And another thing, emotional maturity means you don't speak for all men. It also means you don't speak for all women. So anytime a woman uses the B, A, N word, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna say the bitch ass nigga word.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that she's talking about you. You know what I mean? That was the first thing I had to learn on this app. You know what I mean? But outside of that, there was nothing else. You know what I mean? Most of the time, I was able to control, you know what I mean, when a woman spoke negatively or when she was misandrous or when a woman is misandrous on this app. You know what I mean? But emotional maturity is just basically meaning minding your business. If it does not refer to you, if it's not referring to your family or some of your friends, then there's no reason for you to react. The whole point of emotional maturity is the lack of reaction. Without you reacting, you know what I mean? You're showing that you have emotional intelligence. There's times that I want to come off mic, but then I'm like, wait, hold on. Why should I? This woman ain't talking about me. Mm-hmm. This man ain't in front of me. Why should I? You know what I mean? So that's the key thing, when you should know when you are being referred to as. When you're in that class of people that are being described, or when you're part of that, then you can speak on it if you want to. But most of the time, there's no reason to at all. And this whole opinion, thoughts thing, gotta stop. If we're talking about a serious matter, a serious topic, there's no, like, for you to have emotional intelligence, that means you're bringing some logic into your emotional intelligence, your emotional maturity.
All right, y'all. Let's get to the last commercial break, and when we get back, I got something for my wrestling fans. So let's get Brytn Smile in, and we will be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Brytn Smile. Now, you guys need to keep your mouths clean, keep your mouths white, and keep your mouths bright between dentist visits. I get it. I understand. So here's where Brytn Smile come into play. Yes, good old Brytn Smile. Now, in this whitening kit, it comes with a multitude of things that you need. Starters, you're going to need a user manual on how to operate the devices that come with it. Next up, you have a shade chart to keep you posted on where your teeth fall on the chart. That is very beneficial. Also, these gel pens. Put the gel on each tooth. Do it correctly. Follow the manual. And, well, you know, we have a charger. It comes with a charger. I wonder why. That's right, an LED mouthpiece. This is very beneficial, y'all, as y'all can see. For the blue, it is on for 15 minutes. And once that is done, let's go purple, pink, whatever color you prefer to call it. Let's do that for 10 minutes. Go to Brytn Smile. The link is located in the description. Grab a kit, put in your shopping cart. And when you get to the checkout, the promo code is BTSI for 25% off. Again, BTSI for 25% off.
This person was emotionally unstable. They were reacting in an emotional way with no logic behind it. While I was just bringing logical proofs, and they were not taking it, or they were trying to say, well, this is not how it is. This is how it should be. Life doesn't work on it should be. Life works on it is. It is what it is, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what
all right, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, we are back, y'all. Now, I got something for my wrestling fans. I did not forget about y'all. And yes, we will get back to the wrestling content. I will come here like we did when we broke news about Vince. We'll get back to stuff like that, and we're going to be reacting to the videos. However, this Saturday, I got something for y'all. Elimination Chamber. We're going to do another watch party and live reaction. Like I said, I do want to thank you guys for pulling up to Royal Rumble. Did not expect that many people to show up during the broadcast, but I do appreciate you guys. That was 450 during the broadcast. It's grown to over 500. You guys are the best, and thank you. Like, seriously. So we're going to run it back again this Saturday, 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. We all know we got the men's elimination chamber for the United States Championship. You got Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Montez Ford. Let's see if you guys are doing NFL. It's not NFL draft. Jesus Christ, DraftKings for WWE. I don't see. I think they're gonna do like who will get pinned first, who will get eliminated first, and who will win it all. Me personally, I see Austin Theory winning that one. The women's elimination chamber, you have Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, and Carmella. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's long overdue for Natalya to get her shine. So I'm going for Natalya in that one. Of course, you got the great couple Edge and Beth Phoenix versus the Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. I see Edge and Beth Phoenix winning that one. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Honestly, it's going to be, I have it. Of course, I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley, but if you ask me, they're going to do like some type of disqualification, whatever the case may be, just to set up for WrestleMania. but I will give it to Bobby Lashley. And for the championship match, come on, knock it off. I like Sami Zayn, but knock it off. It's going to be Roman Reigns over Sami Zayn. It's going to be great storytelling between the two. They are going to be in Sami Zayn's hometown of Montreal, Canada. So I do expect that crowd to be pro Sami Zayn, but this is Roman we're talking about. We ain't playing no games here. So, and also for the wrestling fans, one more thing. Goldberg, WWE legend, rips Rihanna Super Bowl halftime performance. What did he say? If this thing was, he said, I was disgusted by it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Goldberg's opinion. He's entitled to it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not the only one that felt that way about Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime performance. A lot of people did. I graded it on a curve. She is pregnant. If I have to take a guess, she had to be like 5 months pregnant. Before, and I thought that to myself before my wife made a suggestion of how far along is she? Probably 5 months pregnant. So the degree of difficulty and the degree of something going wrong is extremely high, especially how she propped herself over the field or whatever the case may be. That was probably the best visual halftime show I've ever seen. But to say that it was complete trash, awful, whatever the case may be, y'all need to relax. Like, y'all need to motherfucking relax. But yeah, the Goldberg, he's entitled to his own opinion. But nevertheless, people, y'all see the ticker at the bottom. Please come back here on Saturday, 6:45 p.m. We're gonna do a watch party live stream of the Elimination Chamber. Like I said, after what happened last time, I'm officially the hardest working content creator on YouTube. I had to give you guys back-to-back entries at the Royal Rumble, man and woman. We're gonna do it again for the Elimination Chamber. No stress at all. But other than that, people, let me get back to my whatchamacallit. That is it for tonight's simulcast. How long we did? Like almost an hour and a half this evening. Like I said, we're gonna do more simulcasts. This was definitely improv too because we're in the middle of a marriage series, and I said I wasn't going to do any rooms while I'm doing my series. But I said let me go ahead and see if I can get the simulcast up and running. But so far so good. Everything's looking good on you guys on YouTube, and of course my team is here in Clubhouse, so I greatly appreciate them. But to Cowboy, Moa, and Lisa, any final words about any other topics? You need me to read them again? I will.
Nah, I think I'm good.
All right.
I was going to say something, but since we're simulcasting.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Do not say it on this. No. Nope. Don't. We're not doing that. No, we ain't gonna entertain that idea. You can say that for Tuesday. Or whenever I get back in the app.
What were the topics again, Chris?
The topics of today's show, it was 4 topics. First one was Tia Mowry says, I know love will find me again. The second topic was the Joe Budden say he's happy to see podcasters fail. Third topic is not all women are afraid of ending up singles. And of course, the last one is emotional maturity.
Right. So I spoke on the emotional maturity. The podcasters failing. Can you explain that one? The second one. When he said he's happy that the podcasters are failing. Or is he talking about his haters, the new ones?
Yeah, he's talking about people.
Experienced ones.
He's talking about these new people that want to get in the podcast game because they're looking for quick money, fast money, but they ultimately fail. He's happy that they're failing because they thought shit was easy, but it don't get down like that. That's number one. Number two, they say he could be addressing Rory Amal, his previous co-host, or he could be addressing Mouse Jones, which is somebody I find to be very talented on screen. That's just me. Or behind the microphone.
Right. I'm going to agree with the first point that the other podcasters, the ones that are coming online, thinking that shit is easy. They think that, hey, get a camera, set up a YouTube account, you made it. You know what I mean? It's a lot more craft into it. You have to have experience, years of experience. It's not something months or weeks can solve. And you have to have the followers. In order to have the followers, you have to know what you're talking about. And in order to know what you have to talk about, you also need experience for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I totally agree with them if he's talking about the podcasters, but the other two, which I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm happy too that he said the same thing, because I'm saying the same thing. I've seen so many people jump on YouTube. I've seen so many people jump on IG, you know what I mean, trying to make quick money, Snapchat, the ones that have subscribers and stuff. And I always tell them, like, no matter how many followers you have, you know what I mean, like, you got that. Even if you do get commission for this, right, it's not going to be a lot. And even if you get into a site where they give you a referral program or an affiliate program, it's not going to be a lot. First off, the thing is, people don't understand. Not only do you need followers, but also you need the buyers, and you also need the sellers. Sellers being your team, buyers being people who's buying your product or whatever product you're affiliated of, and then the followers, in order to get the affiliate program approved or the influencer program approved by whoever you're marketing for on your YouTube or IG or whatever. So it's a lot more into this. You know what I mean? I'm in the sales marketing game. I know exactly what he's talking about. And a lot of people just jump into it making quick cash. And this is how they're thinking. They're better off at the 9 to 5, because it's not easy money. Trust me, it's not easy. It took me, this is my 11th year going in. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy whatsoever.
Nah, I understand. Jay, I'm surprised you are still awake.
I lost myself. I lost for work as soon as I heard that. So I'm like, wait. What's going on, Jay?
I'm kind of restless, and I decided to cook. I'm taking a mini break right now.
Wow.
So what's good?
Nothing. We was reacting to. I'm doing a simulcast. We're on YouTube right now. I was doing a reaction to Lapeef's show tonight. Did you watch it in full?
No, I haven't seen it at all. What happened?
I'm gonna let you watch it, but let's see. What's that comment you laughed at on Facebook? I didn't see that.
You're gonna have to remind me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you laughed at me when I said, when the question was, not all women are afraid of ending up single. You laughed at my response to that, but that's okay. We'll talk about that later.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. You know, okay, you can do whatever you want. I'm not tripping. But you guys, I'm going to bed because unfortunately I gotta run some errands before I go to work. So
y'all gotta keep me company while I cook.
I'm sorry, Jay. My eyelids are getting heavy, and I can hear my son coughing because it's allergy season. So I need to go attend to him. But those who are watching on YouTube, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We will be back at this again next week. Of course, you already know this is the B.TS show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to my YouTube page. Follow me on all social media accounts. Feel free to make a donation to me through Cash App. Participant, waive all rights to privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person is going to get $100. And so you know, my man on my word, one lucky person is going to get $50 once we reach 500 subscribers. And don't you guys forget, please visit the B.TS Show website. That is www.thebtsishow.com. And just to let everybody know, I didn't forget about last week. I'm going to clip up the edits. I'm going to have that posted during this week with this cooperation with this today's show. So, other than that, people on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, This is the B.TS Show. I'm your host, Christopher J. Y'all have a blessed evening. Peace out.